Nick Ehlers will listen to offers July 1st. It doesn't mean he won't re-sign in Winnipeg, but it does put Kevin Cheveldayoff in an interesting, if not tough, position. The Jets don't want to take a step back and will need to replace Ehlers if he does walk. How can Cheveldayoff make sure he doesn't get caught waiting and finish free agency as a winner?
You know what he's got to do? He's got to put enough money in front of Nick Ehlers that Nick Ehlers looks at it and says, I'm leaving because I just want something different. Not because the Winnipeg Jets are not willing to pay me a big number, because he's such a significant part of that team and added so much with the offense really exploding this year. Best power play in the NHL, a top 5 team when it comes to goal scoring. Like, they really do need a player like him. So you have to try and find a way to climb up and get to a number where you really entice him to stay. And if you don't, you have to look for some other goal-scoring options, because it was so vital to the team's success that they were able to score a lot more this year.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think you bring up a good point. Like, make it uncomfortable for Ehlers to want to leave.
Yes.
Right? And if he wants to leave and he wants a change of pace, so be it. He's been within the organization for a decade. But he's a big piece that they're going to miss out on. And obviously, Jonathan Toews is going to arrive. We don't know what Toews is going to bring to the table. Is he a fourth-line guy, a third-line guy? I think they need help in the middle. Kyle Connor can score, as we know. Gabe Vilardi's been a really good fit. Yeah. Scheifele's going to continue to play well in Winnipeg. They have very good depth. They got maybe the best third line in hockey, or at least that's the way it played out this year. You're right. It's attacking that second line. Can Perfetti continue to grow internally? Namestnikov, what does he bring in the future? I think they got to add maybe a guy like Brock Besser, right? Like, if Ehlers is going to go and Brock Besser's saying, show me the money. Now, maybe they weren't comfortable giving it to Ehlers. Maybe it's going to be a similar sentiment when it comes to Besser, but he can score. And he plays the other side, gives a little bit of flexibility to that lineup. I like the idea of attacking someone else, because there's not a ton of options for big offensive players if Ehlers is going to walk.
And Brock Besser's an interesting name because he's basically a year removed from a 40-goal season. The only reason why he hasn't hit 30 before is because he's had injuries, or else he would be one of those guys that's known as an annual 30-goal scorer. He would slot in well because he would play on the first power play unit, right in the spot that Nick Ehlers plays in, that they had so much success with. So that's one of those guys where if you have the money allocated for Ehlers and he chooses to say no, you have to throw that money right at Brock Besser and entice him to go to the Winnipeg Jets, which is also pretty close in proximity to where he's from in Minnesota.
Well, entering free agency, the Jets have the 10th best odds to win the Stanley Cup next year on FanDuel, one spot ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs.